Finally, I would like to thank my amazing committee members who give me the patience and ultimate support and guidance to get me to this stage, especially Dr. Daim, since I started this program in 2019, who stood beside me and never hesitated to take my hand to this historical moment in my life. Thank you, Dr. Daim, for all the support and effort that you give me. My research topic is organizational redress assessment for fraud and deduction and preventions, case study of airline sector and electronic payment. We'll start our research by introduction and research motivations, their literature review, then gaps and methodology, their research models and research application, then conclusion. So the methodology that you will hear during my research or the speech will include electronic payment, fraud, and chargeback, which defined as a non-cash payment that does not involve a paper check, and fraud, as we know, it's a compromised usage of payment details through stolen credit card or debit card or any additional form of payment. Chargeback is a joint dispute between the customer and airlines. The customer claims that the airlines did not deliver the service as promised, and the cardholder abused the systems to not pay for transaction they made. So the airlines industry has experienced technological advancement in payment processing technologies. Customer can make electronic payment using their phone without going to the bank or airlines to make payment. With such advancement, fraud continues to grow excessively. So over the year, there has been an increased number of payment fraud cases in the airline industry. However, the fraud challenges also arises. For example, in 2017, e-commerce fraud increased by 45%, losing over 57.8 billion across large airlines. And the total number of losses within the airline industry was more than 2.3 billion worldwide, making the issue of electronic fraud much worse. In all the areas that depend on electronic payment, fraud has become a leading concern airline industry, which has experienced an increase in online technology. The study motivation is to develop a solution to address the existing gap in the fraud prevention framework. So several fraud deductions and preventions. Can you still see? Sorry about that.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, okay. So several fraud detection and prevention software have failed to materialize. However, as a fraudsters adjust to security mechanism in 3 systems, fraud detection and prevention software failed to provide the needed protection.
You went mute. Sultan, you went mute.
I don't know why the system keep popping up.
Okay, go ahead.
So let's repeat. The study motivation is to develop a solution to address existing gaps in the fraud prevention frameworks. Several fraud detection and software have failed to materialize. However, as fraudsters adjust to security measurement in these systems, fraud detection and prevention software fail to provide the needed protection for these airlines. So according to internal crime complaints, they have received so many complaints of many losses during 2021, which exceeded the loss, which caused significant damages to the general e-commerce sectors. To prevent fraud, loss, fraud detection, and software system have become an essential priority within outlet of e-commerce. So according also to the International Air Transport Association, which is called IATA, estimated that the cost of preventing fraud within the airline sector is about 858 million annually as of 2002. Also, according to IATA, fraud costs the airline industry an estimated around $1 billion annually. Beside the value of related fraudulent air ticketing has a higher percentage of occurrence, with many fraudsters targeting the upper tier product line. According to the American Association of Fraud Examiner, 15% of all reported fraud-related cases involved credit card payment with rate of 20% yearly. So according to Nelson's, who reported in 2012 through 2018, fraud across online payment and other e-commerce types grew to the rate about 240%, which is twice the speed of the e-commerce business operation, with anticipated losses of over 57 billion across larger corporations due to the lack of the current technology. The current airlines fraud detection system directly impact revenue and the time and the resources in processing the chargeback. Reducing chargeback is a top, while reducing chargeback is the top priority and area of interest for airline industry. Even though effort has been made to reduce the chargeback rate as much as possible, it's remained concerned for how organizations are structured. Adapting decision model would help decision makers in fraud prevention. Within the airline industry, the percentage of a chargeback tripled from 2017 to 2018, within 45% of operating anticipated by take account attacked. So as we know, all fraud is an illegal process where individuals obtain a monetary gain from operations that involve the deceptions. It's considered that a loss of 60% of revenue is slightly significant for the airlines industry. However, extensive as might appear. So there is a need to explore a system that can improve the security of fraud prevention system at a lower cost. Within the increase in the fraud-related cases and the cost of adoption a new system, some airlines have become a bankrupt because some companies have tried to operate within 8 to 10 other fraud detection and management system, and they are failed. Airlines have tested the available systems in the industry to find reliable anti-fraud protection system. Due to that increase, the airline travel studies how that data breaches attacked the passengers while they are booking a flight. So airlines have tested the available system in industry to find the reliable anti-fraud prevention system. So during my research, I have not found any study that can evaluate the airline readiness for fraud technology or process for the organizations. So the development of payment fraud detection and prevention software is still critical, given that fraud incidents are increasing with the increased technology adoption. So there is urgent need to develop the best solutions. A problem in fraud prevention is a high cost required to fund a software development project. Developing a new software also is a costly and would require a fatal investment by the airlines. So most companies have lost so much on frauds that they are unwilling to commit to such a development. This occurs when the software is mislead with the problem perspectives. So correct identification of these perspectives is essential. This solution provides a composite assessment of factors associated with fraud in the airline sector. So from the literature, the airlines industry need a reliable anti-fraud system that deliver loss reductions. However, deciding on the best tool or process that met all their need is limited by decision maker problem. There is a need to explore further the system that can improve the security of fraud prevention system. The adoption system can achieve higher reliability with those factors integrated into the decision maker process. As we know, most of fraudsters use existing technology to superpass and devise ways to outmaneuver existing protection. Fraudsters are experts with understanding the current technology. They use sophisticated equipment with the ability to reach the available fraud prevention software. So there is a need for systems that require aligns with the capacity to detect and prevent fraud. And from there, I have come up with the three gaps and the goal that I was looking for and the research questions. The research questions, I have identified three research questions, which is the how well can companies evaluate their own organization readiness for frauds? And the second question, what variables must be this decision maker consider when evaluating their fraud detection and prevention readiness? And the third question is the HDM an assistive tool or process for management in evaluating the readiness of an organization to adjust to the ever-changing tactic of fraudsters? So the methodology that I used here is a multi-criteria decision, comes from or extracted from a multi-criteria decision-making method, which is a rational approach used by decision maker to help them evaluate and select the appropriate solution. This method generally have been developed to facilitate the selection of the alternative of multiple criteria. There are several approaches to multi-criteria decision making, including HPL, which is analytical hierarchy process, and ANCB, analytical network process. But my study have selected, and this is a study to analyze the air fraud detection and prevention system, and HDM will be used to develop the decision model to evaluate the organization and readiness for fraud technology in the airline industry. And the HDM model can be used as a network of relationship among decision hierarchies, where subject judgment are provided in comprehensive evaluation. So decision maker have adapted to the HDM in a various industry. And why I'm choosing this method, because HDM is a great way to translate qualitative data into quantitative information, making it much easier for decision maker to analyze the problem and define solution. So HDM also has the importance of linking decision element to multiple possibility. The result is a solution that can be used to detect and prevent financial fraud in the airline industry. So the HDM model is an excellent method for handling different scenarios. It can be conducted with other tools such as sensitivity analysis to provide decision maker with a clear picture of the problem. So according to the definition that I just mentioned, factors and perspectives and the other interacts judgment quantification, HDM has a strong aptitude for classifying decision-making in the airlines. Decision-making in the airlines industry is associated with high level of complexity. It required a large amount of information and qualified people who have significant experience to provide their evaluation in the decision-making process. Using an HDM in the airline industry requires skilled people from all levels that can increase the interaction between top-level decision-maker or technician and engineer of different departments and divisions. So using HDM, airlines companies can make quick and continue decision based on the evaluation results provided by their experts and engineers. So HDM model will help experts selecting a fraud detection and prevention system that can be best fit of their needs. So we started by validating the impact of the criteria and perspective through an expert panel, then quantify the criteria and their level of impact on their final goal, reveal any disagreement or inconsistency in the judgment of the expert panel, and also using the usability curve to our matrix to quantify subject measures and identify the level of impact of each factors on the final goal. So we have identified from the literature review and from the and validated by the expert, we have adapted 5 perspectives. The first one is economic and financial perspective, technological perspective and security perspective, legal perspective, organization perspective. All these perspectives were further broken down into 27 assessment criteria. So I built my model through the literature review. The study added to existing literature and emphasized the difficulties in implementing various online payment schema. According to the literature review, one of the factors contributed to the failure or slow adoption of online payment is a lack of comprehensive and structured knowledge of various perspectives around online income in the airline business, including economic and financial, technological and legal and security, and organization. In this model, we found the most highly rated element that must be considered during the implementation and adoption procedure. In this perspective, in economic and financial perspective, we have come up with 5 criteria. 6 criteria, which include the financial instability, financial output, economic investment, economic efficiency, cost, and financial risk and uncertainty, and defining the cost, which is the factor measure that cost of operation, including human resource, training, power, and its effort of organization, financial bottom line. From the technological perspective, we have also created 6 factors or criteria, which includes infrastructures and platform features, ease of use, interoperability, impact of productive capability and scalability, and the one, for instance, fraud is for an capability. Fraud is an extended problem that the solution select and organization should easily scalable to the profiling organization conditions each time. From the legal perspective, which create the awareness and motivating by increased electronic transaction compared to cash transaction within the airline industry. So the next transformation in the transactions lies with how legal framework are adapted. Changes in the legal framework are increasing the value of a payment. So in this perspectives, we have found 5 criteria, which includes uncertainty, compliance, incentives, and approval and governance. For instance, the legal approval is the legal frameworks should be approved to make them appropriate and available in the airline industry, because without approval, without the authority approval, the usage can be thrown into a question of legal and its application to prevent fraud. So approval is really important here, which can help them to confirm if this software is safe to use. Security.
Okay, I found this on the web.
Security, sorry about that. Security is about the, I can't see my screen, sorry. Security about electronic payment is an essential critical concern. Without a system that guaranteed security, the process will be satisfied and will not have positive effect. There are diverse issues available that need to be overlooked to develop systematic options to understand the decision for security. Looking at the level of fraud and the prevention options available, that main thing that appear is a inconsistent system, not able to respond to the growth of fraud. So there is a need to be system principle necessary to influence decision made and highlight security options that best fit for the the solution. And for this perspective, we have created 5 criteria, which include the security infrastructure, security design, security principles, and data protections, and security governance. For instance, the data protection is the system should be supported with advanced level data encryptions and access features. So, and for the next perspective, the final one is the organizational perspectives. The organizational perspective provide a picture of the internal preparedness of the organization in response to the challenge of fraud prevention. So the fraud issue has been identified as a significant setback to the e-payment. So one of the factors that is the organizational readiness, which measure the level of preparedness of an organization. This organization need to be ready to deal with fraud. And this is my HDM model with a significant perspective and factors. We are evaluating e-payment and fraud detection and prevention technology. And to validate and quantify the model, expert panel has been selected based on their education and experience background, which required at least 10 years of experience, of practical experience and knowledge in the airline industry, and already have experience in working on committee and expert panels, willing to participate in the research. I have selected them through research connections, personal connections, and technology organization report and citation analysis. And here the expert panel, we started with the validation, the model through the Qualtrics survey. Then we did our quantification stage by combined by the HDM model and Qualtrics. And 37 experts participated in the research to validate, and 33 experts quantified the model, distributed in between 7 panels, and validated the model. Each factor were approved by at least 67% of the experts. And this is a list of the experts who participated from each airlines that we target, for example, Saudi, Emirates, and Swiss Airlines, and Kuwait, and Cairo. And this is the HDM, the data collection that we started to collect. It's created based on the perspective quantification and criteria. HDM uses a pairwise comparison to quantify a decision through expert subject matter. So this item below are compared against each other, assigned a value between 1 and 99 according to the expert opinion. So the expert in this panel perform pairwise comparison of the perspective factor to measure their relative roles in decision making. So economic and financial and technological and legal and security and organizational perspective were all evaluated. The results are presented here below. The inconsistency and disagreement was within the under the threshold, which is 10%. And this is the expert in this phase go through a set, as I mentioned, of pairwise comparison, evaluating the perspective decision that being made to measure the procedure depending on the number of perspective expert that we need. They needed to clear one, giving that 5 perspective will require site comparison. So the number of comparison will be constrained to 10. And this is the formula that I used. And we're reaching to the final model that has been finalized and validated of the factor, obtaining through the literature review and expert quantifications, factor to determine the important. So high value factors here is the economic and financials. and security perspective are the most significant factors within 28%, and the most important factors in the model is the data protections rate of 9.5. And here we use the desirability curve, matrix, to give a better understanding of the model. The significant advantage is they provide a set of standards matrix that decision maker may use to make reliable and effective decision without consulting expert or reproducing and applying the model again. So we set a measurement of each criteria has been identified as assigned on a scale of 0 to 100. And this is the result based on the feedback. So the matrix scale was derived from the literature review, and value curves allow airlines to evaluate their score and readiness. And also we use the two case studies. Here, case studies will help us understand where the organization is and where it needed to be, applying the model to a real-world scenarios to ensure the model robustness. So the advantage of case study is that it gives the capability of high conceptual validity and deal with casual complexity. So we have, I have chosen these two cases by doing an interview, like an interview was conducted with airlines industry, with Saudi Airlines and Swiss executives who has an academic and they are proficient in IT. These two organizations have shown their cooperations and interest in exploring criteria factors and applying the model in examining their decision criteria. So these cases provide a deep understanding of how airlines might perform in a developed readiness model. Fraud prevention might be applied to these two cases, each of which comes from different system and plays a distinct role in frontline payment fraud preventions. So the solution might be used to enhance the two organization payment solution in addition to management and interoperability challenges. So the model will be used to assist whether it's reacted in the line with the nature of these two cases. So from the airlines, Saudi Airlines has partnered with online payment gateway to establish a new technology cooperation, drive innovations, and develop a fraud resistant payment system. So their goal was, or their initiatives actually was to create a solution to the problem. So the airlines was seeking to develop a startup lead items and service and tool to address credit card fraud. Same thing with the Swiss Airlines. The airlines is working to reducing the risk of the payment fraud, which includes chargeback. It has built a robust technology infrastructure over the past years to deliver a top quality service. It also has been recognized as one of the most technologically sophisticated company in the industry. Also, they seek track of new technology as they emerge through the several initiatives. The two main types of sensitivity analysis is a local sensitivity analysis and global sensitivity analysis. Local sensitivity analysis assists the effect of signal parameter and at the time while holding all other parameters constant. In contrast, global sensitivity analysis is a border analysis used in more complex model scenarios such as Monte-Carlo techniques. And as you can see, assessing the contribution value for airlines for case one, Saudi Airlines, of each criterion to the mission at the desirability score of each project gives the final score of 82.26%. Same thing done with Swiss Airlines, which led the project. Each project gives a final score of 80%, 49%. And the case application and the final score, as we can see, the score of case 1 is 82% and 96, and the score of case 2 is 80%, leading to the case 1 having a higher reducing score than case 2 in security. And this table compared the case organization preferences for fraud prevention and solution, highlighted their strength and weakness. From the assessment score, the model noted that some factors had a greater desirability in decision making. The cases score highly in several areas of readiness and capability with adapting a new fraud prevention solution, but there are many ways to improve the adaptations. For example, for case 1, Saudi, the needed infrastructure exists in the company. It also has the technical capability to install innovative fraud prevention program, and the company sees fraud prevention solution as a matter of compliance. The organization need to guarantee that data protection is prominent and has people trained and skilled personnel. However, the case has some weakness. The economic and of fraud prevention is weak. Installing a new fraud prevention will come at an extra cost, and it has little legal incentive to install new system. The new system does not add significant value, but legal approval and recent fraud prevention is important. From case 2, Swiss Airlines, Swiss International Airlines, the strength include the exceptions to improve the general efficiency of its financial system, enjoying the advantage of efficient fraud detection and meet data management and security compliance. The solution is also legal and not in violation of the law. However, the organization must put more emphasis on the need for the reduction of financial risk and uncertainty through planning and developing governance structure, deducting the access and use of resources. And this is the technological readiness from combining both strength and weakness from both cases. The technological readiness level in both cases pointed to commonalities in strength. There is a common needs for infrastructure to support the development and the exceptions of the advantage of efficiency. Even with software input, the companies are concerned about real gain in the direction of the economy of the economist of new fraud prevention is weak, and certainly of fraud reduction through planning. In addition, organizations are concerned with the quality of reporting capability. The improvement that we done, we're focused on the area in which the organization score low and make the appropriate recommendation. So enables airlines to make improvement and take a corrective action in response to discovered weakness. So from the table, we can see the evaluation score of case 1 the original score was 82%. And after providing a potential improvement to the weakness area, revealed an improve of score 87%. Same thing done with case 2. Swiss Airlines, the original score was 80%, and after providing potential improvement to the weak areas, revealed an improvement of 92%. Sensitivity analysis has been used, and defining a sensitivity analysis is used to assess the model resilience.